Hey there. It is 2025. And if you are a professional woman, a woman who takes care of a household, a woman who stays home taking care of their family, their children, a woman in the workplace, a woman in the community doing her thing, then you are oftentimes very stressed. And how do you take time to relax? How do you take time to bring it on down? Well, we're going to talk about two simple activities that you can use to bring it down, to take care of yourself, and to relax. And we're going to get to it in just one moment. Hi there. I'm Marcyline Bailey, and you are inside of Stress Talk Live. This is the place where we help women over 40 to live healthier lives through strategic stress management and solution focused self care. I'm Marcyline Bailey, and I am your host for today. I'm so happy that you joined me. I am always grateful that you joined me, and I am grateful to be able to be with you today at this time in this place. We are talking about relaxation strategies, and I thought that I would just kind of share some of the things that help in the moment. We're oftentimes, once you get home and you take your shoes off and you put on your lounging wear, you sit in front of the TV watching whatever shows you're watching, you had dinner, you're just chilling, you can relax then. But what happens during the day when you're out and about, when you're dealing with other people and other people got their thing that they want to do, that they got to say, and you're in the midst of all of that? How do you temper the stress level that you might be experiencing? Now, remember, stress is very important. We stress is part of us, and it's very important because when we have a certain level of stress, it motivates us. We get things done. And scientists, researchers know that there's an optimal level of stress that we can experience. And when we experience that optimal level of stress, that's when we everything is kicking. We're moving. We're all cylinders are pumping the way they should pump, and we are very efficient in terms of getting things done, handling our business. It's only when that stress needle tips over into overstress that things go awry. And so we want to make sure we have an optimum level of stress, but we don't want to tip it over so that we are overstressed and we're feeling it not only mentally and emotionally, but we're also feeling it physically, because that's what stress is. Stress is a physical reaction to an unspecified stimulus. So our bodies are going to feel it before we even recognize that we are experiencing stress and the stress response. So today, I wanted to share two simple activities that I believe help you to relax. And these are things that you can do in the moment. You can do them anywhere at any time. And that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty. You can do it anytime, anywhere. You can do it if you're in front of people, you can do it when you're alone. The point is, you're able to bring yourself in and rein in that rising stress level if that's what you're experiencing. Before we get started, you know I always have to have say this. Please like, follow, and subscribe to ML Bailey Consultants. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Also, here's my tap link. I do have to update it. I'm going to be honest with you. I do have to update it, but there's still some good stuff on there. So go there and get whatever is there. And here's my website. This is where you can find me. So, we are talking about two simple activities that help women find time to relax. Hey, did you all like how I did that? I'm not messing around. We're getting right to the topic of discussion. And let's see there. Oh, I have all these. Here we go. Okay. I have all of these windows open and I thought I'd mess myself up, but I'm good now. Okay. So let me get my notes together where I can see them and I can look at them. So the reason I'm talking about this today is because, um, as I said in the opening, we can, once we get home, we're good. Once we've left the workplace, we're good, right? But it's when we're in the moment that we need to be able to bring that stress level down. And so I want to share these two things. And you've heard me talk about them before, but I'm going to give you there, that's better. I was trying to figure out where to put my notes. I'm going to give you some things to think about as I'm talking about them. Okay. Because relaxation isn't a luxury. We should be able to relax and bring our stress levels down without having to add extra things to our plate. And that's part of it, right? I mean, if it was easy to go to the gym 5 days a week, everybody would do it. But time is a factor. If it was easy to go to the yoga studio, everybody would do it but time is a factor. So we want to be able to do those things that will help us in the moment, after the moment, or before the moment. Okay. So the first thing I want to share with you all is something that I always talk about. And as you know, I teach it. It's mindfulness meditation. Now, when you're thinking about mindfulness meditation and what I've taught, you're probably thinking that you have to sit on a cushion on the floor with your legs crossed, with your hands face down. Some people meditate with their palms face up, but that's not how I teach it. Teach it with your palms face down. And you might think that you need 30, 40, 50, or 60 minutes at least in order to get the benefit of mindfulness meditation. Well, that's not true. Now, of course, I love to meditate and I meditate first thing in the morning, oftentimes, most mornings. And right now, I spend 20 minutes meditating. There was a time last year when I would spend 40. I was meditating 40 minutes every morning. I'd get up at 5 and I'd meditate for 40 minutes. I'm not doing that right now, but I do get 20 minutes in. So, what is mindfulness meditation? And basically, mindfulness meditation is learning to bring your attention to the present moment and then just seeing what comes up without judgment or bias. Now, that's a summary of official the official mindfulness meditation definition. But we're bringing our attention to the present moment. And then we're just seeing what comes up. Because our mind, we have minds that jump all over the place. They're like frogs, they're everywhere. Our mind is going everywhere. It's jumping to the present. Dog, I've got to put fabric softener in the wash. It's jumping to the past. You know what, dog, I should have gotten those chicken thighs when I was at the store the other day. Or it's just everywhere. I've got to get ready for work tomorrow. What am I going to eat? What will I cook for dinner? Dog, I got to get the kid over to practice, right? It's everywhere. With mindfulness, mindfulness is bringing our attention. It's acknowledging all of that other stuff that's going on, that's swirling around us, but it's bringing our attention to the present and then just seeing what comes up. Now, the key is there's no bias and there's no judgment. Now, I'm going to tell you that we're just judgmental. We're just judgmental. And when I speak of judgmental, I'm not saying that we find things wrong with everything. Basically, when we're talking about mindfulness meditation and we're talking about judgment, we're talking about having an opinion. Having an opinion about it. Having something to say about it. Analyzing it. Trying to fix it. Trying to make it different. That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about judgment. Bias also is, I like that thought, so I'm going to keep thinking it. Or, I don't like that. I have to stop thinking about it. I'm going to quit thinking about it right now. Boy, I can't stand that thought, but I'm going to keep trying to stop thinking about it, right? What happens with our brain is we're constantly thinking and we don't focus. How often have you walked through your house and you stubbed your toe because you didn't pay attention to what was in your path? Or have you tried to pour something and you realize that you missed your cup or your glass because you were thinking about something else? Or you're walking down the steps and you stumbled because you missed the step because you weren't focused on where your feet were actually going to go. So when we are talking about mindfulness meditation, again, we're talking about learning. It's a process that has to be practiced to bring our attention, meaning not just our thoughts, but our experience to the present moment. Experiencing the present moment, not just thinking about the present moment, but experiencing the present moment. And then as we are experiencing the present, we're just going to notice. We're going to pay attention to what comes up. And yes, it could be that I start thinking about those chicken thighs that I should have bought last week when I was at the store. Yes, it could be that I'm thinking about work and getting ready for work. The key is I don't stay there. I acknowledge the thought, and then I bring my attention and awareness back to the present. I don't stay in that place. I don't ponder those thoughts. I don't turn over all of those things that I'm thinking about in the past and the future. I acknowledge that I thought it. I acknowledge that it jumped in my head, but I come back to the present. Okay. Any questions? Any comments about that? Mindfulness meditation is learning to bring our attention to the present moment and then just seeing what arises without bias or judgment. So, We know what it is. How do we do it? So, right now, I'm going to demonstrate how we can do this. And I'm going to invite you to join me in this activity. And we're just going to do a few minutes of mindfulness, okay? And I have my little handy dandy timer right here, and I'm going to set it. And I'm actually going to put the sound on so you can hear it when it goes off. But I'm going to set it for, let's say, 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Now, I recommend that you practice mindfulness in the moment, if you can, for 5 minutes throughout the day. Just take 5 minutes throughout the day because it is a learning process and it's something that needs practice. So, but for our purposes, I'm just setting the timer for 3 minutes. Okay. Now, before I turn the timer on, I want you to sit in your chair. If you're in your chair at work, I believe you'll be in a chair. But sit in a chair. You don't have to sit on the floor for this. Sit in a chair, place your feet firmly on the floor. And when I talk about firmly on the floor, if you want the bottom, the sole of your foot to rest flat on the floor. That's so that you can experience the floor holding you up. That's very important that we recognize that we are supported, that there is a firm foundation that is holding us, that's allowing us to be just holding us, okay? So you want to put your feet flat on the floor. You also want to sit in your chair. I'm actually sitting on a stool, but you want to sit upright in your chair. Slumping will restrict your breathing. So we don't want to slump when we're doing mindfulness meditation. We want to sit upright in the chair. Now, when you're sitting upright, there's a balance to this, okay? And the balance is that you want to balance effort with relaxation. So that we usually say being upright, not uptight. So you don't want to be tight like this. You want to have a posture that is supported and it feels comfortable. Okay, that allows your rib cage to expand without restriction and allows you to your arms to and your hands to fall lightly on your lap in a way that's not restrictive or tight. So you're seated with your feet firm flat on the floor. You're sitting upright, not uptight. You're balancing effort with relaxation. Sometimes it helps to take a deep breath and roll your shoulders down, around and down. Okay? Sometimes that helps. As you're sitting, you're going to just breathe naturally. And what I'd like for you to do for the next 3 minutes, because I'm putting the timer on, I set the timer, I'm going to start it, and you'll hear it when it stops. For the next 3 minutes, I would like for you to notice the sensations of the air as it goes in and out of your body. Now, that means that you may notice it more profoundly as it goes in your nostrils, right? That cool air. You may notice it by sensing your chest rise and fall. Some of you may notice it because you'll experience your rib cage expanding or contracting. I'd like for you to Focus your attention and your awareness on that sensation of the air as it goes in and out of your body. And I'm going to practice with you, okay, for 3 minutes. Are we ready? Okay, starting the timer. Now, as I am sitting here, I can notice my chest rising and falling. I can also experience and feel my rib cage expanding. You don't have to tell yourself that. I'm just saying it as a reminder to you as to where your attention and your awareness should be. I can also experience the air going in my nostril. It's very cool as it goes in, and it's warm as it's exhaled through my nose. If you experience your thoughts going in different directions, just acknowledge your thought and then bring your attention and your awareness back to your breath. And we have about 1 minute left. – 20 seconds. Okay. So, how was that for those of you who practiced? Just drop it in the chat. Did you have difficulty keeping your mind focused on your breathing? Did you notice that your mind was going in different directions all over the place? Was there one particular thought that kept coming to you? If so, just drop it in the chat so we can talk about it real quickly. Because that's what tends to happen. That's why it's important for us to practice. Practice it so that it becomes a habit and that it's not difficult for us to do it. Again, I recommend 5 minutes throughout the day. That way, when you're in the moment, you can immediately focus your attention and your awareness on your breathing, on the breath. And that takes you out of that high stress moment and it kicks in the relaxation response. So, meditation, mindfulness meditation, again, yes, in the best scenario, you're going to have ample time to really hone that skill, practice, and sit on the cushion Lots of good things happen when you sit on that cushion. However, when you are in the moment, you're at work, you're in a high stress situation, being able to bring your attention to the present moment and just seeing what arises without bias or judgment is vital because it helps you to stay present and aware. It will help you to be able to think, and it will keep you from jumping into that stress response where you're like this because you're in fight or flight mode and you're not able to think because your brain is functioning from back here. Okay? So, practicing mindfulness 5 minutes throughout the day, just like that. Taking your seat, sitting in your chair, sitting upright, not uptight, having your feet firmly planted on the floor, and then noticing the breath and experiencing the breath as it goes in and out of your body. Again, this is different than just thinking about your breathing and thinking about the breath. That's different. It's about it's about paying attention to the sensations. Okay? Thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, so let's go to number 2. We talked about mindfulness meditation and we did a 3-minute practice. It was 3 minutes. Was that long? It tends to be long. So it feels long when you've not done it, when you're not accustomed to doing that. 3 minutes can be a long time. But when you're in the moment, it only takes a few minutes, a couple minutes, a few seconds actually, if you've practiced this skill to bring your stress levels down. So let's go to the next one, journaling. Ta-da! When I was younger, I used to write. I loved to write. And at one time, I wanted to be a journalist. I thought I loved writing that much. I still enjoy writing. I do. I love to write. But when I was in high school, I was going to be a journalist. I had a teacher who talked me out of it. I would have loved to have been a journalist, but all things work out. So journaling, there's so many benefits to journaling. When we journal, we're actually getting our thoughts and our feelings out in a very safe manner. And I'll give you a scenario in just a couple of minutes. Journaling helps us to reduce our stress because we're getting our thoughts and feelings out. It also helps to boost our well-being. Research has shown that journaling helps to lower blood pressure, helps to improve our mood, and it also lowers our stress, as I said before. What it does is it creates space for us to thoughtfully consider what's happening in our lives right now. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. It gives us space to do that in a safe way. I say that because sometimes we want to have conversations with people and either they are not ready to have that conversation or they're not able to have a meaningful conversation around the topic or the subject. The same with us. Sometimes we need to be talking, but we are not able to for various reasons. We're not able to have meaningful, thoughtful conversations about certain topics. And so when we journal, we're able to get our thoughts and our feelings out. So Back in the day, how many of you all had a diary? I had a diary back in the day, way back. I had tons of diaries. I had lots of diaries. Sometimes when we're cleaning and we find a box that we've not opened in a while, I find notebooks with things that I've written. And I'm like, gee, I had forgotten about all of that. But writing was a great outlet for me, especially because I'm an introvert, right? I'm not one who is always very open about what I feel or what I'm thinking unless I'm with people who I absolutely trust. And so I can thank you again. So when I journaled, when I wrote, I could talk about whatever I needed to talk about and I could get it out. And that was very healthy for me. Well, having diaries, having journals are not just for young kids, it's for us too. It's for us older people with gray hair. It's for us too. Think about all the things that we've carried over the years. Hey, sweetie. Yes, girl, me too. I hear you. Think about the things that we've carried over the years that we've just not been able to talk about, not able to share. We're able to do that if we write it down. Now, oftentimes, if I'm talking to one of my clients, I'll just tell them, hey, write it down, get it all out. And, if you need to burn it, if you need to shred it, if you need to get rid of it, do that. That safeguards what you're thinking as well as what you're feeling. So, journaling is another very simple activity that women can do to bring that stress level down. So, how can we start all of this, right? Oh, okay. So, journaling, let me go back to journaling. I'll often tell people start small. And I do that. We did that when we practiced mindfulness just a few moments ago. We started with 3 minutes. You want to start small. Write for maybe 5 minutes. And you can do it. You can write 5 minutes and you can do it a couple of ways. You can use a prompt. Now, if you go on into a search engine, you can find prompts for journal prompts. Do that. Just go in the search engine and find journal prompts. Or you can make them up. You can talk about how you felt. This is how I felt when my supervisor spoke to me today. Or you can basically say, I want to write down all the things that I'm grateful for today. You can use prompts. Or you can just free form. You can get a sheet of paper or a notebook and just write. There's no form to it. You don't have to use capitals. You don't have to use periods. You don't have to use commas. Grammar doesn't matter. You just write freely. Whatever comes up, that's what you write. You write it down. Now, the trick with journaling is that you don't have to go back and read it. This is not a place for judgment or bias. Very similar to mindfulness meditation. It is not a place for judgment or bias. So you don't have to go back and read it. You just want to get it out of your system. So we've talked about, and I know I'm out of time, we've talked about 2 simple activities that help women find time to relax. These activities are things that you can do throughout the day. You don't have to go any place to do it. You don't have to have any special equipment, any special tools, any special place to do it. You can do it while you're standing in the grocery store. You can just type it on your notes on your phone. 2 simple activities that help women find time to relax. We talked about mindfulness meditation, and I suggested that you try 5 minutes throughout the day, focusing on your awareness and your attention on the sensation and the experience of the breath as it goes in and out of your body. I also talked about journaling, being able to write free form where you're just writing whatever comes up, whatever your thoughts are, whatever you're feeling, you write. You don't have to use punctuation, you don't have to use proper grammar. You write it as it comes. Or you can choose to use prompts, and you can find prompts in a search engine. Very simple. Easy peasy. Well, y'all, that's it for today. I'm so glad you joined me. I'm so glad that you were here with me today. We're going to be continue to share those kinds of strategies for you so that we can help you to live healthier lives through strategic stress management and solution-focused self-care. I'm Marcyline Bailey. That's all for now. And as always, take good care.